Hey, what's up everybody? So, I did a rock mining video. Now, the only next logical progression for you is to learn how to do prospect mining. It's a multi-step process, so you'll need to buy your mining ship, and then you'll have to, at the very least, have access to funds to rent a cargo ship, like a Connie Andromeda, a Freelancer Max. But, with that being said, if you have access to a cargo ship, you're all good. You can very easily do this, and just regardless of what the meta is, you can always gather easily fair amount of money in a reasonable short amount of time if you exclude the refinery process. So anyway, so we got to start our adventure here down in Lorville in front of New Deal, right where I am. And what we need to do is we need to go in down to New Deal here. So we have to first buy our Prospector, which is here at New Deal, for just a little more than 2 million, almost 2.1 million, give or take. However, once you have that, we also then have to go down to Tammy & Sons, down here in Lorville, to pick up a Hofstede size 1. And then from there, we have to make one more stop that I will not show you, but I'll explain it after we get to Tammy & Sons. Okay, so we need to... There's two places we need to go to. We don't want to go here to the central business district, because that's where you would go when you have your refined material. We want to come here to the Metro Center, which is where your habs are and all your other neat kind of stuff. Oh, look, train just arrived. Perfect. And so when we get into this area, we need to find the Tammy & Sons. And you may have to wander around a little bit. They do have maps. But once you get there, I'll show you what we're looking for. Okay, so this is what we're looking for, this Tammy & Sons. So basically, when you get here, you're going to want to just follow the signs. That's all I got to say, is just follow the signs. Because they do have a map where you see here, we are right here. We want to go down here, and then go down a set of stairs here, I believe, and it's right here. And just follow the map, follow the signs, you'll get there. Okay, so this is what we're looking for here. Tammy & Sons. Be a bit amazed to get here, but if you follow the signs and have enough patience, this is where we need to go. So what we're looking for here is, well, actually, hold on. First of all, if you're just starting out, you can buy basic armor, basic weapons. You can buy food and water and any of the other supplies you'll need for to begin your journey. But I'm running on the assumption that you have a little bit because you've made enough money to buy the Prospector, or you have pledged the Prospector. So we're going to get into here. Okay, so what you're going to be looking for is you're looking for this, the Hofstede size 1. And if your terminals are working correctly, you can, drop down here, categories, utility, and under here, under subcategory, mining heads. And then we want this, because this is your best all-around mining head laser as of 322, and has been since about 321, actually. It cuts through resistance, but it adds a bit of instability, which you can work with instability, but resistance you cannot work with. It only has one slot on it, which I'll explain that in a second. And I wish I could show you the rest of it. But for the Prospector, this is the one you want, because this will allow you to crack the biggest amount of rocks that you can. So you want to be able, when you can purchase it, you're going to want to hit purchase, and then confirm it, and they're going to want to equip it onto your ship.
Welcome
All
to
right,
the
so what we're going to
vehicle
do,
retrieval system.
we're going to call in our Prospector. I know, so this is not Lorville. There's a bug. I couldn't buy what I was looking for. Okay, so now we hit F1. Now when we go to equip it, there's a little ship down there. And we're going to come down here. We're going to come down to our Prospector. Populate. And we'll toss that skin on it. Let's see if I got the... Yeah, I do. Okay. So after you buy it, it'll show up in your local inventory, whether it's Lorville or wherever you happen to buy it. So we're going to equip it. And now it's been equipped. But now it's only got one sub item. So here's where you're going to make another different step. Ideally, you want a Riger C3 because that'll give you the biggest power output increase. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to take this one. It's only 5% difference, Riger C2. But the Riger C3s, we're going to hit save and exit. And then once it saves, okay, it's saved. And once you get the Hofstede on, the Riger C3s, you can get from here, and they are at the refinery here at Hurl 2. And then from there, we go planet side, and we begin our mining, which I'll show you that in a moment. That's one of the Luminalia paints. I like it. It kind of looks a little more crisper than the stock paint, but the stock paint's like a gunmetal silver almost, or shiny silver. You have your mining head, your mining laser here. There's your actual little gadget right there. So eventually you should be able, if the gadget gets damaged, you can take it off and take it on. And what we'll do is just come and go into the ship here. This is one of the few ships that when you're in VTOL in on planet, you will have no problem staying in VTOL. Much like the Mole and other ships. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to head out to our planet. We'll probably head out to Magda because that seems to be a good planet. Cold power on. We're gonna head out, even though we're down here at RKL1, because of bugs on the server I was originally recording on. We're gonna head down to here. We're gonna head, because this I find is a good spot for a lot of the high level tier 1 minerals. But when we get to Magda, I will be right back.
Clear to launch.
We arrived at Magda. Reason why I do Magda is A, there's not a lot of jump points, and B, it's not highly traveled, and C, even mole mining is still worth my time coming here. Outside of belt mining, and if you want to take a chance at trying to mine quant at Lyria, which is down here, but I prefer doing belt mining, but planet mining is a lot easier to do because you only got to worry about kind of one axis. So normally I would go down one of the OM points, but I'm not too worried about it. HDMS Permin. Let's go to the light side, HDMS Han. And so we're going to need to know a couple of controls here. We're going to need to know how to use the scanner. We're going to need to know how to operate the mining mode and how to, of course, operate the mining mode. And once you get the hang of it, it is really simple. Now, fair warning, key bindings change. And I have not used the default key bindings in like, I don't know, last year and a half, even when I was playing with mouse and keyboard. So, you're going to need to know a couple of things. Obviously, adjusting your power to weapons and shutting weapons off is a big thing when you're taking on bigger rocks. But for your scanning, you're going to want to press V in 322 to bring up your scanner. You want to long hold and release V. That's your default. I've changed it to tab, mouse, and keyboard. But you're also going to want to have a keybind to increase or decrease your angle of your ping. And I have not done that for this, but there is a default key setting, so be sure to check that. And you want to work from a setting that's about 90, and so you want 180 degrees to start. Keep an eye on your altimeter. And we want to look for signals. So you see how we have a signal there 10 kilometers out. That is probably a box because it's not oh no, What is that? There's a gladius. There's... Oh, okay, we're gonna go this way. We're gonna go a long ways away from that. Because you are under Prospector and you're doing this, you're not a combat ship by any stretch of the imagination. So you want to avoid it. Not saying you can't combat, it's just, it's not a good idea. So you want to bring up your scanner, and you want to just literally just keep pinging, and rocks will show up anywhere between like anywhere between about 10 and 15k out. And they're in multiples of anywhere between 1500 and 2000. See, there you go. That's probably a bunch of rocks right there. Look at that all loading in. And you can see here, this is what I'm looking at here. Reading your signature 8920. These are more than likely gems, but we'll go and check it out. Because gems have a multiple of 600, give or take. 8920, that's either a very big deposit, or it is... There we go. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's gems. That should have switched over by now. No, that's rocks. That is rocks. Maybe. No, it's gems. Oh, rocks. Okay. So that is what a rock will look like. So then you'll want to just slow your stuff down as you get really close. So when you're in the Prospector, you're going to be able to break rocks up to about 9k consistently without gadgets. I'll do a separate video on that if there's enough demand for it. But you just come up and then you left mouse click. It'll tell you what it is on the left hand side, its size, and then its makeup. So we have iron and inert, which is not what we're looking for. 1700 kilograms. This guy looks like a big guy. 15k. And iron. No. So the materials you're looking for is obviously quant first. And then you want to look for, that's basically tier 0. Then tier 1 is your bexylite, terranite, and ooh, this has got a bit of gold in it. 4,000, perfect. And gold. And we'll just come over here, scan this one. Oh, terranite as well. All right, perfect. So we got 2 great rocks. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to exit out of our thing by holding V. And we're going to press M to bring out our mining mode. So now we got our HUD. So this here shows us what we have on our laser. Like all the different adds and minuses. This here shows what we have, what modules we have on our laser. In this case, the Rigger C2. Then if you have any actives, active things like Surge and the Lifeline and Brent and a few other ones, which aren't really good at this in this current patch. You could use Alt 1, 2, and 3 to activate those. And this here has the mass, so the information, the mass, and the makeup. So I generally don't go for rocks that are anything less than 20% of what I'm looking at, depending on the size. If you are mole mining, you can be a lot less picky because you can take literally everything and it really doesn't matter. And the reason why I chose the Hofstede head is see its minimum power 5%. In the mole and the size 2 and size 3 lasers, it's 10%, which is the lowest that you can possibly go. So then now what you're going to do is you're going to left mouse. And you see how on this side here, we're not in the optimal range yet. We're going to move in a little bit. Actually, we're a little too close, actually. Believe it or not, you want to be at optimal range because that'll give you the most power. And the default for adjusting the power up and down is shift and mouse wheel, I think. Left shift and mouse wheel. I just have it changed to mouse wheel for when I'm doing mole turret mining. Whoa, that went up a little too fast. I'm used to working with a little bigger rocks than this. So then see how that bar goes up ever so little bit? It's got a fairly high instability of 32. So all we're going to do is we're just going to play with that laser power by scroll wheel up and down until it sits in that green. Once it's in that green, we're going to try and keep it there. And if it goes into the red and it gets up there too high, it will explode. The good thing about the Prospector is you generally have an opportunity to run away before it explodes. The mole, not so much, but the mole has significantly increased shields and significantly increased hull in order to be able to handle that damage. Ooh, let's back that right off. And if it is a bit of a larger rock, you can, like I said, put full power to your guns. You can, you know, if you feel brazen enough, take power off your shields, shut off your guns. So now, ooh, with the mining laser out, you automatically see what is what. It automatically scans the pieces for you. And what we're looking for is we're looking for our high ratio mineral deposits to suck up. Ooh, 100% terranite. So in order to bring out extraction mode, we're going to right click on our mouse and then we're going to left click to activate. And as you see, it's going to start just sucking it up. Boom, there we go. And with the Prospector, you want to look at stuff that you want to grab your 100% pieces first. So you only have 32 SCU. I mean, ultimately, we don't have a lot that's a waste here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and break up that. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Oh, we don't want to do that. Suck this one up because that's like 80% terranite. There. So what we're going to do is we're come over here to the gold one. And we're going to break this one up first. Because then we'll see what we can get. 100% gold piece. A little bigger of a piece, but that's okay. See what happens when you spend a little bit of, you get a little too close. See, that's what happens when you overcharge it. Got hit with a little bit of lag there. That's probably going to pop. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, good. Alright, so it's cooled off. Go right to the very bottom end of the optimal, because believe it or not, being right on that optimal will make or break whether or not you can break that rock. And just take your time. Take our time with it. Just flutter that mouse. See, even though we're too close, look, we still ended up getting hit. So now, like I said, left mouse. Let's see what we got for gold. I should have probably used the gadget on this one to get the gold to break a bit more. Yeah, good old desync. Alright, well. Take this one. %, gold, and 24. Oh, we're not gonna touch that for. Come over here. 34% Terranite. 49% Terranite. 51% Terranite. Yeah, you know what? We'll take this one off. We'll work with it. Let's see about our gold here. 4% gold, sure, why not? Take it. Percent gold. Oh, we aren't touching that. And that is how you do the actual mining part of it. As you can see, of 13 SCU, we have... No, that's not what... normally you'd be a bit more particular. But, you know, we have about 7 SCU of Terranite and it's about 1.27 SCU of gold. This, like, obviously you want to just take the higher ratio stuff and then you want to throw, like, the iron and the inert material obviously out. But, I mean, it's not a bad start. So, I'm going to find a couple more. And I will, we'll be right back. And we'll go from there. Alright, so we're now full. I mean, it's not the best of hauls, but you know what? Generally when you're mining, you're doing multiple runs anyways. So you're only going to ultimately end up refining the Terranite, Laranite, and the gold. While that only equates for about half the load, I would consider this a good load. And like I said, you're looking for Quantanium first, at least as of 322. Then you're looking for Bexelite, Terranite, and gold. That's your next set. And then after that, you have Laranite, Boris, Beryl, and a couple of others that I can't remember off the top of my head. And that's the next tier. But you want to go for the high value first, regardless whether you're mole mining or prospector mining. And then we're going to take this to a refinery. So the refineries themselves, they vary based on that, but like HER L2 is a refinery, HER L1's a refinery, ARC L1's a refinery, Crew L1's a refinery. And those are the ones that I frequent, but I'd imagine there's a good number of other ones as well. I base myself on ARC L1 because I don't really need, because that's where most of my, where my belt mining and that takes place. So we're going to take this back to ARC L1, and when we get there, I will show you what to do with the refinery. You may have quant, but just take your time when you come back. I recommend doing diversion jumping if you are fully loaded with quant or something else and you're afraid of a quantum interdiction. But you will have a timer with volatile materials such as quant, Especially in 322, that's the only one that has a volatile timer. It wouldn't surprise me if they add more volatile materials that are unstable while they're unrefined. But as of 322, your quant timer is like 22 minutes or something. It's something ridiculous that you could. There's no rush. You could take your time. And it's just take your time with it. You want to be gentle, especially if you have quantanium. You don't want to bump it. You don't want to be boosting. You don't want to be doing hard turn and burns, because that's all going to make your unstable load that much more unstable. But just take your time with it. As of 322, the only material that has that timer is quantanium. And it is 20 minutes, so you don't need to rush. I mean, like, I could have went from maggot to here with a fully loaded thing of quant and still had like 15 minutes to spare. But you just come in, make a gentle landing, and then what we'll do is we'll go in, store our ship, because once you store your ship, if you had a quant timer, that makes it go like that. That puts the timer on hold.
Have a pleasant stay. Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
And then yeah, then we'll head to the refinery, and we'll go from there. We store our ship.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Because if we do have quant, it will stop the timer. Then we run over to our elevators. Come on down to the refinery. Now this is with station refining. Eventually they will have shipboard refining, which I'll do a whole other video on that when that time comes, which I'm looking forward to. But this is for station refining, where it's a process.
Make a general announcement to check your valve settings. We've been.
So then we come up the stairs. And if you wanted to sell your stuff directly from the hold, you could do it here for like half the value. We wanted to, we could sell it for like half the value, like next to nothing. Gold refined is worth like double that per SCU, and so on and so forth. But what we're going to do is we're going to double that, so we should be able to get almost double that for if we refine it. So we come here to the screen, we hit begin, and we select our ship. Generally I mine with a mole, but we're showing Prospector mining. We hit setup work order. So now we don't want iron because that's useless. We want our gold, we want our laranite, and we want our terranite. And then the methods, there's two methods. The one I use, because I generally don't rush because it's very cheap, is Dink Salvation at 5k. For example, it'll probably be almost about 7k for a fully loaded Prospector, and it'll take about 48 hours. And that's the most efficient. Now, if you're in a rush, you could have this load done in 8 hours and it doubles the cost. It's the exact same efficiency. It's low speed, moderate cost, high yield. Whereas Dink Salvation, you get half of that, but you're over triple the time. So if you're not in a rush, you can use Dinks. I always use Dink Salvation just because it's the cheapest. And I'm generally not that much of a rush anyway. So we hit confirm, and then now it says work order accepted, and you'll see it, and it's going to start working through it one SCU at a time, or like at a slow rate. And when it's done, you'll get a message that comes across the screen. When it's done, you just load it onto the same menu, and you just select your ship on the work order, and then it goes into your ship. Until they do things like cargo elevators and that kind of stuff, which is a whole other mechanic how that's going to change as well. But anyways, be sure to leave a like, comment, and a subscription if you like this video. And if you want to see more Star Citizen tips and tricks, and I'll see you guys in the next one.